Hello and good morning friends, welcome to the CEC-UGC live lecture. Dear friends, today we would be talking on social media for governance under the series New Media. Under the series we have conducted numerous sessions and we would like to tell you all that all the lectures pertaining to the series are there for you on the YouTube. So dear friends, taking this session forward, as I already said that we would be talking on social media for governance, and for this very topic, for this very discussion, we have once again with us in our studios Dr. Anubhuti Yadav. Dr. Anubhuti Yadav is head of the department New Media, Indian Institute of Mass Communication. Dear friends, let's welcome our guest Dr. Anubhuti Yadav and let's try to regain maximum knowledge through her. So without wasting any time, I would like to welcome our guest Dr. Anubhuti Yadav. Dr. Yadav, welcome to the EduSec lecture.
Thank you. Good morning everyone. Today we'll be discussing about social media for governance. As we have discussed in the past that social media is playing a very important role in different professions, whether it is advertising, marketing, education, public relations, and we also know that there are a lot of people who are there on internet. They are spending a lot of time on social media platform. So at this point of time wherein a lot of people who are consuming information through social media platforms, and there are a lot of people who are engaging and interacting with number of people on social media platform, it becomes important for the government organizations also to be there on social media platform. And this is what we are going to talk about in this particular lecture. In this lecture we'll discuss some of the case studies, some of the incidents which had happened in the past, which shows how the government organizations, politicians, they are using social media for citizen engagement. And then we'll be talking about the social media guidelines for the government organizations. We'll be also talking about what are the social media platforms which are available for the government organizations to use. Till now we've been only talking about social networking, but we know that there is much more than the social networking, and if we use all those platforms judiciously and nicely, we'll be able to make a difference, and especially like as far as the governance is concerned. So before I start with my lecture, I have certain incidents which I would like to share with you, as far as how the different politicians and organizations, they are using social media platform. One incident is, and this happened just a week back, wherein there is a couple, newlywed couple, and they got married, and they started first interacting over the Facebook because they belong to the two different nations, and the girl she flew down to India, got married, and now the thing is that her visa is getting expired, so which means that she has to go back to her country, and then again she has to apply for visa and come back to India again. Now this was the situation, and the boy is from Haryana, and that boy, what he did, he discussed this particular incident with one of his blogger friend, and that friend, what he did, he tweeted about this particular thing, and he tagged External Affairs Minister Mrs. Sushma Swaraj in that. And while she received that particular message, she instantly reacted to that and responded to that particular messages. And very interestingly, because that the couple belonged to Haryana, the boy is from the Haryana, she wrote in Haryanvi and she said that कि अपनी बहू को बोलिए कि वीज़ा के extension के लिए अर्जी दाखिल कर दे और हम उसकी मदद करेंगे, which means that just ask your daughter-in-law to file an application for the extension of visa and will help her. And this is how the External Affairs Minister interacted with one particular person from one particular village from Haryana. So this shows that nowadays it's very easy to interact with the politicians also. And something which has happened, another thing which has happened recently is there is a girl, the Manipuri girl, and it came in all the newspapers wherein this girl complained of the harassment by the immigration officers from the IGI airport, and she said that he was questioning her nationality, and every time he was asking her whether you are Indian or not, just because because she belonged to one particular state, and she felt offended by this, and she posted this particular thing on the Facebook. And again, the External Affairs Minister, I mean, she took note of that, and she sent a message. She tweeted that I'm not in charge of immigration, but I'll speak to one of my senior colleague, Rajnath Singh, to sensitize the immigration officers in IGI airport. So these are the incidents which are happening nowadays, and this is how the people, the politicians, the government organizations, the government officials, they are interacting with the citizens. Earlier, if you would see that the people never had this opportunity to interact. They never had opportunity to voice their opinion. If they are facing certain problems, they had to pass through the number of stages or the channels to reach to the right person. But now, with the coming of the social media platform, they can interact with for example, in the previous two cases, they interacted with the External Affairs Minister, and the minister also took note of all these complaints and responded to those particular messages which are there on social media platform immediately. So this is the impact of social media, and this is how it is being used in governance. There are a number of case studies now. Most of the departments, they are on social media platform. Most of the officials, they are on social media platform. So we see a number of such cases coming every day, and this is actually making a difference as far as the governance is concerned. So this is what we are going to talk about today, but the first thing is that what exactly social media is and how do we define social media. And the widely accepted definition of social media is that it is a group of internet-based applications that build on the ideological and technological foundation of 2.0 and that allow the creation of exchange of user-generated content. So here the main focus is on the user-generated content, and when I'm saying that it is riding and it is built on the ideological and technological foundation of Web 2.0. So what exactly Web 2.0? Web 2.0 is the second stage of development of the internet, characterized especially by the change from the static web pages to dynamic or user-generated content and the growth of social media. So when we are talking about Web 2.0, I mean, it is basically the second generation of internet, shift from the static websites, one-to-one communication to the two-way communication. So, like, to explain it further, what exactly Web 2.0 is and what is the evolution, how it has evolved, over the years. If you look at the internet, it came into being in 1991. I mean, 1991, when it was made available to the public, and when it was made available to the public, there were two type of things which are available. One was like the static web pages, which means that it was a platform to provide information to the target audience. And the second one was like it was used as a shopping cart, which means that there was like e-commerce was there also, but there were a lot of catalogs available of the different products, and those catalogs of the different products were available on the web, and the people used to see the different products and they used to decide whether they have to purchase that particular thing or not. So other than that, nothing was happening, which means that it was just the dissemination of information. No interaction was happening at that point of time, and that was the main thing, and that is the main shift which has happened right now. Nowadays, when we are talking about the platform and when we are talking about the Web 2.0 technologies, here we are actually talking about the platform which are actually run by the people. For example, if you look at the social networking site like Facebook, if the people are not there, if they are not generating content, there is no point, or we can always question the existence of that particular platform if the people are not posting photographs, images there. Same is with the Twitter. It is actually riding on what people are doing with that particular platform rather than what the organization is doing. So here the main focus is on the user generated content. So if you look at this particular chart from 93 to, and there's a projection till 2020, so we'll just discuss the communication part of it. So initially, like the mail, search, forum, that was considered as the Web 1.0 technology, and then you have the Web 2.0 technology, wherein we are talking about the social network, we are talking about crowdsourcing, wikis, blogs, instant messenger, which means that these are the platforms wherein the people are actually getting opportunity to contribute to generate content. Now, and now there is like Web 3.0 also. So if we compare all these three technologies, Web 1.0, Web 2.0, Web 3.0, there are certain things which we are going to discuss in this particular table. So Web 1.0 is basically mostly read only, and even the Tim Berners-Lee said that that generation of the internet can be termed as the read-only web, because whatever was available at that point of time was available for the people to consume and people to get information, to access information. They were not able to do anything other than that on that particular platform. But when you're talking about Web 2.0, it is basically on this particular platform you can read and you can write also. So writing is something which is very new to this thing. And then if you compare it with the Web 3.0, I mean, it is portable and personal, which means that till now we've been talking about something which is available on the web, available for the community. But now we are saying that, the technology should be such that, it should give the personalized information. Also, like when you are talking about Web 1.0, it was company focus. Web 2.0 was the community focus, and the Web 3.0 is individual focus. In Web 1.0, the focus was on home pages. Just the home page was available, and the text was available at that point of time on the home pages. Then in Web 2.0, blogs and wikis are available, and in Web 3.0, you have the live streams and waves. In 1.0, people could own the content. The content was owned by a certain organization. So the focus was on creating content, owning content, and sharing that content with the public. But then in Web 2.0, basically it is riding on the concept of sharing, which means that the platform is available. We can say that the vessel is available, and it's the different people, they are coming and they are sharing the content there on that particular platform. And in Web 3.0, we are talking about the consolidation of that particular content, which means that the content coming from the various platforms and the content which is relevant to a one particular individual or the needs of a one particular individual is actually offered to that individual. So this is like the major difference between the Web 1.0, 2.0 and 3.0. Also, if you can, the one major difference is, when we are talking about, the encyclopedia, we had this during the 1.0, we had the Britannica Online, right? So which means that it was available online, but the entire information was available related to, the different things, places, events and all. But, if we are talking about Web 2.0, then we are talking about wikis. Now, wiki is a very important platform because it is like herein what we are doing, we are actually involving community into a generation of knowledge. And then when we are talking about Web 3.0, we are talking about the semantic web. Semantic web is like basically we are saying that the web should be intelligent and intuitive to the needs of the target audience. So the Tim Berners-Lee had said that when we are talking about the search engines, it's good that they are indexing number of pages, but when you search something on a web, you don't get the information what you want to get. So the semantic web is basically the intelligent web and the intuitive web, which is like responding to the needs of the target audience. So this is the major differences between these technologies which are available. And social media, yes, I mean it is a Web 2.0 technology, which means that a lot of user generated content is there. Now, social media and its growth, this is something which is very important. We know that the social media is growing at a very fast pace. It is growing at a fast pace, one, because of the numbers, because there are a number of people who have access to internet and they have access to technology. That's why, the people are coming on to the social media platform. We'll come on to that later on. But, there are a number of other things which are making this social media very successful, and that's why, it is growing at a very fast pace. First is because it is a tool that allows individuals to more easily use human networks. This is very important. We know that the human network has a lot of power. Till now, we were not actually leveraging that power of the human network. Till now, whenever we used to talk about the information, we used to talk about the organization delivering or disseminating that particular information. But now, this particular technology, the social media, is allowing individual to more easily use human networks. And we know that, if nowadays, if we have any question, so instead of going on to a website or instead of asking, any expert, the first thing which we do is that you post that particular question on, our Facebook, or maybe like we tweet about that, and within seconds we get number of responses. So that is like how we can use the power of human networks, and that's why this particular medium is growing. Also, it expects the interactive rather than broadcast communication. So, because it is not broadcast communication, it is earlier what was happening, that the people, they were the passive receiver, which means that the information was available and they were just receiving that particular information. But here, since there's a lot of interaction, all the people they also got this opportunity to share their experiences, share their feeling, and that's why they are more onto the social media platform. And also it is powerful because it uses not only text but other media formats also. So it's not only the text which we are using here, we're using infographics, we're using videos, we are using audio, we're using story maps, we're using timelines. So we are actually using number of ways of the delivering messages using these particular platforms, and this is something which is making social media very popular. And it also relies on measures and objectives to facilitate communication, which means that whenever we are on social media, especially as an organization, government organization, so we have certain objectives. We have certain objectives in mind. That's why we are there on social media, and those objectives. And if we start working on social media, everything is measurable. So these are the various points, and these are the various things which are making social media a very popular medium with all of us, whether it's any profession, any industry, or the government organization, or individuals. That is how it is becoming more and more popular. Now, also, as I said, that it depends upon number also, which means that it is becoming popular because a lot of people have access to internet. A lot of people have access to technology, and we know that the total number of internet users are 3.1 billion. And if we talk about the world population, 42% of the world population is connected with the internet, and this population is growing at a very, very fast pace. And you can see in this graph, from 1993 to 2015, the way this the internet population is growing. Internet users are growing across the world. Internet users also, we know that in China, there are 704 million people. In India, there are 324 million people. So they are connected with the internet. If you're talking about the world on the web, we know that 1.44 billion people are using Facebook at this point of time. So, which is a very huge population which is using social media platform. If you look at the Twitter, there are 289 million people who are using Twitter, and if you look at the Instagram, then there are around 300 million people who are using Instagram, and then 347 million people who are using LinkedIn. And if you look at the Indian number in the Indian context, there are 128 million Facebook users, 22 million Twitter users, 19 million Instagram users, and 32 million LinkedIn users. And this is what people are doing on web, and this is the data of 1 second, what people are doing in 1 second. So this is like more than 1 lakh YouTube videos are being viewed, and more than 24 lakh emails are being sent. more than 1,000 Skype calls are being made, more than 10,000 tweets are being sent, and and more than 50-60,000 Google searches in 1 second is happening. So this is how people are actually behaving online. They are searching information online. They are interacting with other people. So this makes it very important for the government organizations to look at this number and try to leverage this population which is there on the web, which are actually there on the social media platform, who are spending a lot of time on the social media platform, and people have actually shifting from the traditional media, for example newspaper, television, to the new media. The reason for this is that, one, it's a new technology. Obviously, like whenever the new technology is there, we are always in awe with that. But at the same time, all these other mediums, they are riding on this particular technology, which means that the newspaper is available on internet, or the television is available on the internet. So that's why they've got a medium on which they are getting everything. So that is why they are spending a lot of time on on the internet and the social media platforms. And this is what the government organization, they have to think about when they launch a campaign promoting certain policies and programs. So they have to keep in mind that this is the population which they have to think about, because they are spending a lot of time on the internet. Now, what are the social media characteristics? So if you talk about the social media characteristics, the three very important things. One is the connectedness. If we talk about the social media, we know that it's not something which is for an hour or 2 hours. When you are on social media, you are connected with the people 24/7. At that point of time, you cannot say that, okay, this is our time wherein we'll be interacting with the public. I mean, you might be having your time when you'll be responding to certain queries and questions, but the people can come on to your social media platform at any time. And basically here we are talking about the connection, which is 24/7. Then the collaboration. Collaboration is something which is very important. So here it is not only something wherein you are just disseminating information. You are bringing a lot of people on one particular platform, and they are also working on certain issues, certain projects. They are collaborating with each other, and they are contributing to the body of knowledge. Wiki is a very important example for this, and we know that Wiki is an example of the collaboration wherein the people come together and they are creating knowledge, and they're writing articles. And once the article is written, the people can again come to that particular thing. They can edit that particular article, if in case there is some addition required in that particular thing. So the collaboration is also one very important thing. And then the community, both the connectedness and the collaboration leads to a community, which means that the community of people, like-minded people, experts, and when you have a community, you can know that the community can play a very important role, both in the governance. Also, they can help the government also in this particular process. And in some of the examples we have earlier talked about, the power of the community also. So the social media also plays a very important role in creating community, in collectivizing people for certain social causes and all. Now, need for using social media for governance. This is something which is very important. So the first point is the enhanced reach. See, if you talk about any traditional medium, your reach is limited. You know that if you're talking about a one particular edition, so that this is the kind of people you will be covering with this particular edition. So the reach is limited. But when you're talking about the social media platform, so once you are there on social media platforms, you can reach that 42% of the world population which are connected with the internet. So the enhanced reach is the one of the major reason why the government organization, they should be there on the social media platform. Real-time engagement is another thing. Here what is happening that it's the instant communication which is going on. The real-time engagement is there, and social media releases the shackles of time and place for engagement. So like we are not limited by that time and that place, and they can connect policymaker to the stakeholders in real time. And we have seen that during Libyan crisis, Ministry of External Affairs, they use social media platforms such as Twitter to assist in locating and evacuating Indian citizens from Libya. So this is how they are using. Also, there's a third very important thing was the individual interaction. This is something which is very important, but because earlier, like the traditional media was not allowing us to interact with the individuals. Here, the individual interaction is possible. So you're talking to the masses also, but at the same time, you are interacting with the individuals also. And we have seen, like when I mentioned, some of the case studies, those were the individuals who wanted to communicate something to the people in power, and they were able to do so using social media platform. And the fourth very important reason why the government should be there on the social media is for managing perceptions. Now, one of the biggest challenges for the government is to avoid propagation of unverified facts and frivolous misleading rumors with respect to government policies, and this happens a number of times. So leveraging these platforms can help to counter such perceptions and present the facts to enable informed opinion making. Now these are the main reasons why the government organizations, they need to be there on social media platform for the enhanced reach, for the real-time engagement, for the individual interaction, and for managing perceptions. And this is what is very important right now. And now if we look at the government, and especially like if we talk about the government of India, there is a social media guideline for for the government organization, for the government officials. We'll be talking about those guidelines in the coming lecture. Thank you very much. There are a number of reasons why a government organization, they have to use social media, and we've discussed that. One is the enhanced outreach, real-time engagement, individual interaction, and managing perception. Now we'll come on to what are the social media platforms which are available for the government organizations to use. Till now, the social networking, they are the most popular platforms because most of the government organizations, they are using it, individuals are using it. But as I said in the beginning, that there is much more to social media than just the social networking sites. So very quickly I'll take you through what are the various other platforms which are available, which the government organization can think of using if they want to be there on social media platform. So the first one is the social bookmarking, the second is social news, then you have social networking, which includes all the social networking site, which includes your Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all. Then the social photo and video sharing, wikis. So any website that invites you to interact with the site and other visitors fall into the definition of social media. Though we are saying that we keep these as the social media platform, but if you look at the definition, any site which allows you to interact with the organization, I mean, that falls into the category of social media. Very quickly, I'll take you through, what, all these particular platforms are, because we've discussed about these platforms in our previous lectures also. So the first is the social bookmarking, and we know that it's a centralized online service which enables users to add, annotate, edit, and share bookmarks of web documents. Delicious is a very important platform for this, and the tagging is something which is very important when we are talking about, the social bookmarking. What we are doing is we are bookmarking certain page, and we are giving tags to that. So if I am bookmarking a one particular page, the community is also giving tags to that particular thing, and since the community is giving tags to that particular article, so we can also term it as a folksonomy. And why they are giving tags is basically for the categorization of that particular article on the web. So there are a number of platforms available. So this is the Delicious platform. You can always go and explore this particular platform. There are a number of things which you can do. You can add links, you can discover what is trending there. Then you can create your own network the way you have it in Facebook and Twitter. You can add links, you can add your own links, whatever article which you feel is important, you can add that particular link here. So this is the Delicious platform. Then another platform is a Stumble Upon platform. It's exactly like your social media platform, but here what you're doing is you are actually bookmarking certain web pages, and you have a community and you interact with that community in the process of the bookmarking number of web pages which are available on the web. Now what social bookmarking can do? It can increase awareness about the government activities and initiatives. It can, increase website search engine ranking position. It can increase your page rank. It can, help in indexing your blog post faster. Then social bookmarking site help in increasing the website traffic also. So these are the things which the social bookmarking help any organization to do. Then you have the social news, and social news is basically you are interacting by voting for articles and commenting on them. Dig is one platform for that. Reddit is another platform which is a very successful platform, and there are a lot of government organizations, they are using this particular platform wherein they are sharing their links here on this platform. Then comes the social networking, which we all know. For example, your Facebook, we know that at this point of time we have 1,379,552,500 Facebook users, and Facebook users, basically you use it for making connection with the friends and also with the larger community, and that's how the Facebook is being used. And as a government organization, as a department, one can easily use this particular platform by creating pages. If you are trying to disseminate information about a one particular policy or a program or about your department or organization, but if you are working on, say for example, some consultation, then you can always create groups for that. So that possibility is there. Also, for a government organization, something which is very important is that when you are on Facebook, you need to have a verified account, and authenticity is at the core of Facebook. Just as profile should represent real people and real names, so too should the page for entities. So like you need to get your pages verified, if it is a government organization, and also only the authorized people can start the Facebook pages, if you are planning to get on to the social media platform. Then the Facebook groups, that is something which is very important. As I said, that it could be a closed group, it could be an open group. It depends upon you what kind of consultation you're having. So what you can do is that you can invite people to join that particular group, or I mean it could be an open thing wherein people can send you a request that they want to join a group, and then you make them join that particular group. So it depends. There are a number of ways available for that particular thing. So the group is basically for the conversation which we are having on a one particular topic, or a discussion which we are having on a one particular topic. And most of the time it's a closed thing. But if you are talking about or limited, and if you're talking about a Facebook page, it's in it's open and it's visible to all. Whosoever is there on the internet can see your Facebook page. Information for all, I mean, it is one of the pillar of Digital India, and under that particular thing there is this one platform which is called MyGov, and this is basically a platform which I can say that it's like a Facebook but for the citizens of India. And this is the government of India started so that they can have the interaction with the citizen, and it is a citizen engagement program. And in this the way we have it in Facebook groups, there are number of groups available depending upon the number of issues, and there are a lot of people who join those particular groups, and they give their suggestions. For example, national policy of education is being framed, and for that also they created a group on national policy on education, wherein a lot of people joined that particular group, and they gave their suggestion as far as that particular policy is concerned, and what their viewpoint is, how they would like to see education in India evolving. So they give their suggestions. So this is a very nice platform wherein the citizens are being engaged in the process of governance. Then you have another platform which is Twitter, which we all know, and we've just discussed some of the case studies wherein how the politicians, they are using this particular platform, Twitter, and there are a lot of tweets which are being sent by the government organizations, by the government officials, informing about their department and what activities are happening in their department. So this is the tool which wherein you can type 140 characters, and using that you are conveying a lot of messages to the citizen of India. Then you can also track Twitter trends. That's another platform. If you really want to track Twitter trends, what's happening in the Twitter, for example, as a government organization, you have launched something, and it's a very important event, and if you want to see whether that particular hashtag is trending across the world or not, so this is something which you can use. You can track that particular thing using Trends Map. Also, when we are talking about Twitter, another thing which comes is the use of hashtags. Using hashtag is something which is very important. This is also used for categorizing of information on the social media platform. And when you are using the hashtag, and let it be uniform, for example, if you have a Facebook, if you have a Twitter, you have a YouTube, you try and use the same hashtags for that particular thing. Then the social photo and video sharing, which is very important. We know that the Flickr is there, Instagram is there. Then the video sharing, this is something which is very important, and nowadays this is used extensively by the government organization, officials, politicians, and they're using number of platforms. Google Hangouts are being used, Facebook Live is used, YouTube live stream is being used, and Periscope, for the live broadcasting of any event, you can use that. So using Periscope, you can live broadcast any event. One is that the people who are there in the Periscope network, they'll be able to see. Plus, you can always link it with the Twitter. So, I mean, your live broadcast will be available on the in the Twitter feed also. So, these are the platforms which are being used by the different government organizations. But still, they are obviously these are the new platforms. So, still they are learning how to use these particular platforms. But some of the ministries, they are using it. For example, the PIB is using it, very extensively. So we know that the videos are important because through video one is able to recreate the experience of being face to face with someone much better than through audio, image and text. And then through moving likeness and recorded images we can display much of who we are. And that's why we are saying that the videos are very important, and yes, we should have the text also, audio also, but nowadays people want to consume messages through the video format, so it's always good to have a lot of videos on our websites, and also like if you have a social media platforms, so it's always good to have a lot of videos there rather than the static text or just audio there on your social media platforms. Now videos also help in the search engine optimization also, because if someone is searching any content and if the video snippet comes, they tend to click on that particular snippet and they'll come onto your website. It also helps in the link building, which means that you might have seen that the videos are there. And there are a lot of videos in which when the comment box, if you look at the comment box, there are a lot of people drop in their links there. So it helps in the link building also, because if you give a link of a video, the chances are that the people are going to watch that particular video. So it helps in the search engine optimization also. So these are the platforms which are available for the government organizations to use. It depends how they want to start it. I mean, it's not advisable to use all the platform in the one go. I mean, if you are starting with the social media, it's always good to have one or two platform first, and then shift to other platforms. And choosing that particular platform also depends upon your objective of being on the social media. Now, the core values for using social media. What are the core values? One is the identity, which means that when you are on social media, and especially like in the government organization, always clearly identify who you are, which means that if you are posting something on your social media platform, you have to identify who you are. And it is always good that you post that particular comment in the first person, and if you are authorized by the department and the organization, so it should be very clear that you are the authorized person, and you are posting that particular information on the social media on behalf of the government organization. Authority also, that's another core value, which means that do not comment and respond unless authorized to do so, especially in the matters that are sub judice, draft legislations, or relating to other individual. This is something very important, because the moment you have social media platform, all the employees also, they have access to it. So this is something which you have to keep telling them, and you have to sensitize the employees also, that only the authorized person can comment on the social media platform. And that too, if there are something which are under sub judice, draft legislations, or something related to individuals, on that even that person should not comment. Relevance is another core value, which means the comment on issues relevant to your area and make relevant and pertinent comments. This will make conversation productive, and this is what we want. If you are there on social media, we would like to have a productive conversation with our target audience. So the relevance is something which is very important. Professionalism is another thing. If you are on social media, you have created your own platform, you have a power, you can write anything, but you have to be very, very cautious, because you are representing one particular organization. So you have to be polite, you have to be discreet, you have to be respectful to all, and you should not make any personal comments. Also openness, that's another core value, because in many of the government organizations, they think that there are a lot of comments which are coming, and obviously when you are on social media, you will get all sort of comments. There will be negative comments also, there will be positive comments also. So we should be open to comments, even if it is a negative comment. Yes, there should be some moderation should be there, and that can be your policy, whether you want to moderate it or not. Otherwise, be open to the comments, and That's why the social media is here for, because we want people to give their feedback. And also, when I'm talking about the comments, it's not necessary to respond to each and every comment. So being on social media doesn't mean that if you're receiving something, you have to respond to that. If you feel that, that's just an observation by someone, so let it be like that. You don't have to respond to that particular thing. Then the last and the very important point is the privacy. Now, privacy is something which means that, you do not have to reveal any personal information. Right, and this is very, very important. That is something which we have to keep in mind. One is that you do not have to reveal any other person's, information and your own personal, information. So that is something which you should take care about, when you are on social media platform. So this was the core values, when we are talking about the social media platform and it's used in the government organization. But there are certain challenges also in using social media platform, and especially for the organizations who are just venturing into it, who are just starting to use social media platform. The first challenge is why to use social media. Now, this is the challenge which, all of us, the moment we decide that yes, we have to be there on social media, we face that what is the purpose of using social media? Are we using social media to disseminate information? Are we using social media to connect with our target audience? Are we using social media so that we get feedback from them? Are we using social media so that like we can have a discussion on certain specific or maybe like some generic topics? So what is the purpose of using social media? That is the challenge all of us face when we have to be there on the social media. So the first thing is that we have to decide why we would like to be there on the social media. What is the purpose? And many a times what happens that some organizations, they say that since like most of the organizations, they are on social media, so we'll also be there on the social media because it's cool to be there on social media. So it should not happen like that. If you have decided that yes, as a government organization we would like to explore this particular platform, then we have to be very, very clear about the purpose of using social media platform. The second challenge comes like what are the platform which we should be using. So there are a number of platforms as we had discussed. You have a Facebook, you have a Twitter, you have a YouTube, you have Instagram, you have social bookmarking sites. So what are the platform which we should be using? So and this also depends upon your objective, your purpose of using it, and it also depends upon your target audience. For example, you are working on an event and it's a youth specific event, so it's always better to use other than Facebook and Twitter, it's always better to use Instagram because most of the youngsters are there on Instagram. So it depends upon the purpose, the objective of your campaign and also your target audience. So when you select one particular social media platform, it should be selected keeping in view like what is the purpose, what is the objective, who are the target audience for your campaign or for your event. For example, YouTube. I mean, YouTube you should be using only when you know that you have some videos available. So you can start a YouTube channel. It's not at all difficult. It takes only like 15-20 minutes to set up a channel now. But will you be able to populate that with the content? That's the question which you have to ask yourself and you have to answer yourself. Then who will engage? This is another thing. When you're talking about social media, here we are talking about 24/7 engagement. So who are going to engage? Do we have a team for this particular thing? Do we have a dedicated team for social media to engage with our target audience? So this is something which we have to decide. If you're talking about the engagement, is it the one individual who is going to engage, or you'll rope in number of other people with their different specializations from that particular department to engage with the target audience. Also, how to engage. This is something which is very important because use of social media is an ongoing process and requires long-term commitment. And many have questions around rules of engagement, which means how to create and manage an account, what should be response time, what are the legal implications, etc., in order to help departments and government agencies to meet these challenges. So basically how to engage with the target audience. Now response time is something which is very important, and you have to make it very clear on your social media platform that this is the response time, of our social media platform. It is okay to tell them, if you want to take a day to respond to a one particular query, take a day, but tell your target audience that usually we answer in one particular query, or we take around 5 hours or 10 hours or 24 hours to answer to a one particular query. So there is a social media framework, and in India we have a social media framework, and this is something which has been designed by the Department of Electronics and Technology. Now the social media framework for the Government of India has been created to enable government agencies to use social media platforms more effectively, and to reach out to their stakeholders and understand their concerns and hear their voices. Now if you look at the social media framework, this is the social media framework, and there are 7 stages. One is that if you have decided that you want to be on social media platform, the first thing which you have to do is that you have to define your objectives. Second is to identify platforms. What are the platforms which you are going to use? Third is establish governance. It requires governance of number of things. It requires governance of the content. It requires governance of different accounts which are available there. So establish that governance mechanism. Then defining your communication strategy. What is your communication strategy? Then creating a pilot, because it's always good to start with a small thing, rather than starting in a big way. And then engagement analysis. This is something which is very important. If you are on social media, you need to analyze how your people are engaging with your social media platform. And then the institutionalizing social media. You have to make it a part of your organization, rather than the social media exist in a one in silo, that okay, this is the social media unit. You have to integrate with all other departments and whatever work is going on in your organization. So you have to institutionalize social media. Now, in detail about all these stages of the social media framework, the first thing is, as I said, that you have to define the objective. The objective for the use of social media is not just to disseminate information, but also to undertake public engagement for a meaningful public participation for formulation of public policy. For example, if you are working on any document, if you are working on any policy, so that's a very nice platform wherein you can invite people's suggestions, on those particular, the document or the policy which you are actually working on. And then the government organizations are exploring the use of social media for public engagements, for dissemination of information, policy making, recruitment, generating awareness, education about the public services. So these are the number of things which the government organizations they are doing, and you have to decide what exactly your objective is. So if you look at the objectives, so social media can be used for one, seeking feedback from the citizens. So for example, you've launched something, or maybe like you have initiated some new thing, and you want to have their feedback. So social media can be used to seek their feedback. Then if you want to announce any other public policy, so you can use it for the announcement. Then issue based as well as generic interaction, if you want to have such interaction. So every day maybe what you can do is that you can identify one particular topic, and on that you can have interaction with your target audience. Then generating awareness and education on national action plans and implementation strategies. Since the government agencies, they are working on number of plans, so and the citizens, they need to be aware of that particular thing. So the social media can be used for that. And in the Indian context, is one very important thing which we have to take care of, is that when the people write in the other languages or the regional languages on the social media platform, on the government social media platform. So we have to take cognizance of that. So for example, if someone is writing in Hindi or someone is writing in other regional languages, if they have queries related to that, that should not be ignored, in the sense that, we usually like communicate in English, on the social media platform, which is not a right thing to do. It is for everyone. So if people are using regional languages, that should be respected, and their queries should also be answered. Now, the second point was choosing platforms. This is something which is very important. So after defining your objectives, you have to choose a platform. You can choose any platform depending upon your objective and your target audience. So, they are, as I said, that initially you have to start with the one or two social media platform, and later on you can add number of other platform in your basket. Then the government departments can engage social media in any of the following manner: by making use of any of the existing or the external platform, by creating their own communication platform. The choice of the platform, whether owned or external, leverage should be made based on the following factors. One is the duration of engagement. How long would you like to engage with your target audience? Type of consultation, like what are the type of consultation? For example, if you're formulating any policy, so for that obviously the Twitter won't work. You need to have a Facebook group for that, or maybe like the platform like MyGov is an ideal platform for that. So the type of engagement and the scope of engagement, which means that how often would you like to have that particular consultation or communication with your target audience. Now, the governance structure, as I said, that the governance involves a lot of things. One is the account governance. So when we are talking about, the government platforms, the accounts are there, account creation is there, login and password, account status. These are something which are very important. So governance of this is also very important, which means that one is that we need to have a document which should have, all the accounts and the passwords. For example, right now, this is the one person who is handling social media platform. The person is transferred or shifted to some another place, and the other person who takes over should have the complete information for that particular thing. So the account governance is something which is very important. Then response and responsiveness, this is what we've talked about, which means that the responsiveness, how you're going to respond to your, the posts which are coming and the comments which are coming on your social media platform. Would you like to have a moderation? So the moment you say that yes, you would like to have a moderation, that means that you would require a huge team for that, because they're going to read each and every comment, and they have to moderate that particular thing. So and as I said, that when you're talking about the response mechanism, each and every post need not to be responded. So this is something which you have to take in consideration. Response mechanism, response governance is another thing. Then content governance is something which is very, very important, which includes the content creation. Now, you're talking about, the different platforms. So if you decide to be there on Facebook or Twitter or YouTube, you know that, you have to create content for that. And the content has to be created differently for all these platforms. Accessibility also, that is something which is very important while developing the content, which means that the content has to be available in the different languages also. The people should be able to access it. And then the moderation, what kind of moderation, and the moderation policy should be at place when you are working on such platform. Then you need to have your communication strategy. Some of the key aspects of the communication strategy include integration of social media into routine, connection with the existing networks, as I mentioned earlier, that you have to integrate with other platforms also, your traditional media also, sharing content across sites, and publicizing use of social networking on the traditional media also. So this is the communication strategy. then creating a pilot, which means that you have to create a pilot and you have to see whether it's working or not. And then the engagement analysis, you have to see all the platform offers you analytics, insights. You have to see how the people are engaging with your social media platform. That will give you an idea how you have to work on your next campaign. Then institutionalize social media. This is something which we have talked about. One is that all the departments have to participate in this particular activity. This should not happen in isolation, and all the people should be participating in this particular initiative proactively. So you have to institutionalize social media, and this is all about the social media for governance. And yes, for the government organizations, it is a challenge. It's going to be a challenge because being a government organization, the moment you post anything, you get a lot of the comments and the suggestions from the public. It becomes difficult to handle such amount of information which is coming from the public. But at the same time, it's a very nice medium because it will help us in the policy formulation, and if you want to make certain changes in the way we are functioning, we are able to do so using social media platform. So this is all for the social media for governance from my side. Thank you.
With this note, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so very much. And dear friends, if you want to give your feedback for this particular lecture, then you can mail us at info.cc@nic.in. We would be meeting again very soon. Till then, take care. Goodbye. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.